art of showing and telling one's story in anticipating and preparing for dearly beloved Mother Nature's next initiation or rite of passage, so to always speak and sing. Come second harvest towards middle to end of September, it is now the time to wind down and reel in summer's haul, gathering provisions and forage for winter storage, of course, well after fall has fallen first. It's what all guys, animals naturally start to do now, anyhow. Great and small, from ant to aardvark, according to Her Majesty's divine designs, plans, and curriculum vitae she lays out and set, or sets, in motion when the northern hemisphere begins tilting away from our venerable sun for the life-giving sake of every. So it is of utmost importance presently to be crystal clear and precise in how one tells their story. That is for the next lunar bi-week or lunar half-month period. That is at this time of every year. Not only does this signal and green light fish and fowl alike to slowly migrate, as they do, just as mammals to nomads and the like organically make their way in preparations do so too. 'Tis a period of and or for traveling, act and art, changing direction, location, or tack, as in getting and going from point A to point B, so to physically speak. Being given, seeing, or taking the best or most available moves possible, instinctually speaking. In essence, going with the flow of any, every, and or all things currently, so to ironically speak. And contrary to the age-old saying, what matters ain't just about the journey, for the destination is just as vital as the trek itself. How else can and or does one reach a peak or a plateau, if not via endeavoring so? Although even then, the levels, degrees, and realms there hitherto never end. This and that is what the art of creating self-directed motion or motivation is all about in any arena or sphere of influence, consolidating and applying the embodiment of experience and hence wisdom amassed, earned, and gathered over the preceding seasons and lifetime, culminating, of course, in the realization that one is fully capable of focusing their own life force to be in harmony, balance, and accord with the life force of everything else. What's being suggested and or pointed out is these next 2 lunar weeks from 8/29 to 9/13 are most conducive for and or towards taking one's personal experiences and insights and turning them into a tangible mesh of influential things alongside and in rhythm and stride with the ebbing and flowing tides of the universe. The individual significance being, no matter what path one takes, each and every journey and destination is as different and unique as none are ever the same for anyone. Ergo, one's relationships to any and all things isn't and or aren't the same either, nor can or should they be. There's powerful profoundness in the realization of the amount of choices and opportunities one has in life to express and project same, while yet remaining in sync with society and dearly beloved Mother Nature's large. It's all about timing, stride, pace, synchronicity, if you will. at least whilst we're still somewhat free to do so, heavily speaking tentatively. Basically, one can't mess it up, any which way one goes, for it's all part and parcel of the growing and learning experience. Get it? Regardless of path or road taken, one is always headed in the right direction, where the whole point and soul's purpose is to develop and grow nevertheless, every step of the way. But of course, or haven't you noticed, life doesn't come without its own pit stops, sidetracks, and U-turns, etc. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so darn interesting and or fun. Likewise, with or without surprise. Anyway, sometimes life lags behind or takes a step back, if not sideswiped or spun, turned inside out or upside down. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so fucking tempting and tempering. And after all the aforementioned is said and done, as it does and so happen to everyone, one is always, and I mean always and ever on course, or facing in the right direction. 'Tis all very individual, and yet a collectively shared experience, in word and in deed. Albeit one can, does, and may occasionally become dismayed, or confused, distracted, or used, now and then, though one never strays from the spiritual path. Again, because enlightenment is reached differently by everyone, however gracefully or not. There's simply no possible way to veer off thy destined or fated track. Refer to karma, please. So, drop all expectation, judgment, predetermination, and pretense, for life is typified most thusly by such things mentioned above as is below. It's what makes life and living so exciting, tantalizing, don't you think? In viewing or perceiving, living this and that way, which it most certainly is, by the way, life is given meaning, in which case it's about how one shows up and tells their story. See? Oh, long, strange trip has been. Each person discovering mode, searching for something or other, headed somewhere together, and yet on their own. Life is about experiencing it, sharing it, and manifesting one's ideals in line with creating even more fodder and more for how one moves the story along forward from here. And noticing and knowing the subtle difference in shade of meaning, sound, and yes, expression of said progression is to find and abide within one's own comfort zone of tension between what's chosen and fated, as in contemplated versus pleaded, between what's desire and what's realistic, and the way one must go versus that which is wanted, between that which one hath at dispense and disposal, as opposed to what needs or should be crafted in. And the cheat sheet, easy road, map, and or key, as in the legend, so to topographically speak, that distinguishes between that which is and isn't actually attainable, just so happens to be storytelling, which becomes its own force to be reckoned with in deciding which path is which to be taken and that which is to be avoided, at least for a tentative time being. Heavy shit, according to the calendarized states of the elder Earthmark, to digest indeed, and probably find ignorance essentially blissful, though I beg to differ, seeing as so many are so unhappy on the inside. For most, if not all of us, has had and has to make tough decisions, choices in life. But that's because that's how life evolves, and grows. Got it? Yet, despite the laissez-faire, wind-down, feel-good flavor of this here Lunar bye-week in front of me, including the no harm done precedents set forth thereof, as far as one's present life path decision is concerned, emphasis should be placed upon mastering the ability of storytelling in light and darkness of this part of the season in particular. In such an enlightened consciousness and state, it's not the story or path of one's life which is important to tell. It's in a passive kind of way. Rather, it's more telling in terms of how one is reacting to the life being lived. Quantities happening, one and the same, or something amiss and in need of redress, or must things be so? So, what's your story? RAIDHO.